Oh, dang it. I did audio and video. Well, whatever. It doesn't matter. Um. Okay, here we go. Let me pull up. Excuse me. Pull up this movie. Sounds like a tornado just came through Jonathan's room.
I knew you were going to comment on my AC.
Yeah, I might turn my fan on low actually. So you do you.
What it is? How's it going, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about Uglies, because UGLY, or I'm sorry, UGLIES. There's no rhyme for that, but the point is, we're going to talk about the whole movie. We're going to talk about all the things. Talk about Joey and their kings. You know, one director, Mick G, and being ugly, even though, let's be honest, you just need to put on some lotion. And all the things. So if you want to hear what we have to say, sit back, relax, grab a snack, grab a beverage, and listen on in to the first ones to die.
You could have said UGLIES. Your face card is not the best. You ugly.
You ugly.
Ugh. I've been so nauseous lately. I'm like, Gatorade's like the best thing in the world.
It does help. It's got great. It's got electrolytes in it. It's really good. When Ari would be like sick or whatever, I would get her Gatorade or like sometimes electrolyte water for that exact purpose.
There, like on Friday, I got real sick, and I can't remember particularly. I can't remember particularly why. I think it was I ate some bad cheese, and like I made a sandwich, and halfway through I was like, I don't think this cheese is good. But still, I ate like another quarter of it, and then I texted my mom. She's like, "Will you throw away the sandwich?" Yeah, I was like, "I think my cheese was bad." She's like, "Throw away the sandwich," and I was like, "Fine." I was almost done with it. Then I got sick, and then on Saturday I was like, "Oh, I feel so crappy," and then I finally got a Gatorade. I was like, "Oh my god, it's like magic! I feel so much better."
I do that too. I risk it with foods. If I don't care if the food, well, I do kind of care sometimes. I just threw out. I just like cleaned my whole apartment today, including my fridge. But sometimes I be pushing it with, oh, I made this food a couple nights ago. Hey, it's still good to me.
Right? I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, one of my people I work with said that rice apparently is like really dangerous if you eat it after it's too old. Like this guy died after eating old rice, but
yeah, it's like I think it's like something with the digestion of it. It's not as easy to digest anymore, I think.
Well, it depends all on the type of rice. That's the issue. Because rice is an absorbent of moisture and it can grow mold surprisingly easily, like bread. So depending on the rice you get and how it's stored, it's not necessarily about it getting old, but it's more like if you leave it in a dark, moist area, it's gonna like definitely get more bacteria on it than just something stored properly. So because rice can last a really long time. Unless you meant like he had cooked rice, put it in the fridge, and then
it was cooked rice.
Oh, then yeah, there's a limit. Then that's definitely like you need to throw that out after like. See, I push it. You're right. I push it too.
Same. I'm see.
So I'm like trying to be like, oh, you should throw it out after, but I'm like, I have leftovers.
Do I?
Yeah, I have leftovers in there. I'm like, I'll heat up and like eat 5 more bites of, and then be like, all right, I should toss it. I should have tossed it after the first bite, but I was like,
no, I'll throw things away in a minute. The second I'm just like, it's been in there for a week. It ain't no more good. Like I won't even take the chance tasting it. I'm like, it's no more good. It's all right. And when I say throw it away, I mean throw the whole thing away. I've lost good containers because I'm like, yeah, but it's too old.
The
container? It's infected the whole container. I need to throw the whole thing away.
You gotta hey, You're lucky. You have a home with a dishwasher. You
I
get
mean,
to
that's true.
sanitize. You can sanitize your dishes.
Yeah, you know, like the heat wash
Me,
and everything.
right? Me, I just gotta trust that my Dawn is doing its job. If it's good enough for the ducts that it be degreasing, then it's good enough for my containers that had some old food in it.
It depends on what it is. Like if it's like a really good container and I'm just like, and I can't afford to lose this, I paid good money for this, then I'll actually like, even though it'll be super gross, I'll wash it out, put it in the dishwasher. But if it's something that's super cheap, I'm like, man, the container cheap anyway. I don't give a damn. I'll just throw the whole thing away. Just put the whole thing in the trash.
First of all, why are
Yeah.
you buying cheap containers? Like, why
Because they
just
cost
buy
a
good
damn. They
ones?
cost nothing at Walgreens. And when you in a
But if
pinch,
you got
So,
buy good containers, those things are gonna last
like the
like
glass ones, I
forever.
like the glass ones with
Yeah.
the
yeah, I don't have any
the
glass
hype
containers.
the seal lock.
Yeah.
I'll reuse like takeout containers sometimes. It's of the good kind. Like this Thai place that I like going to, they give me the good Tupperware that I reuse, and then I've gotten so much of it, I'm like, I don't need all this.
I'll do that sometimes, but it also depends on what I've ordered. Because if it's got something that's kind of like has a sauce that's like more oil based or something, then that just
It'll
sticks
stay
to
in
the
the container.
plastic. Yeah, and then I'm like, I can't do this. But yeah, sometimes I'm just like, well, it's not a bad container. I'm gonna keep it.
Wow, what an adult conversation we're having. Tupperware.
I know. Did you know Tupperware is no longer uh, in business?
A brand name.
Like the
Really?
Tupperware parties and stuff like that. They're not doing that anymore. That
I feel like it's
Like the
not as much of
brand?
a thing to sell Tupperware anymore like it used to be back in the day.
well, that type of Tupperware, yeah. Well, nobody does the Tupperware parties anymore. So they're out of business now, and it's just like really sad because I remember going to those when I was younger, when I was a little kid. My mom would drag me to them. They had some good products there. It was some good products. They never sold them in stores. You had to go to a Tupperware party, but like they were good, solid products.
You guys ever go to the Container Store?
I'm disappointed
Yeah.
by the Container Store.
Why?
I expected more containers. I don't know.
They have so many
There's so
containers in
many.
there.
But it doesn't feel like there's enough because then like randomly the
No, they
Container
don't
Store
have
I
the
went
ones you
to.
use. That's what it is. Because I felt the same way when I went first, and I'm like, I don't use any of these, so it's like I feel like I'm like just in here for no reason because I don't use them or I can't use them because I don't have the space.
That's true. Like I was like wanting like proper containers, and they have like fashionable containers, and then they have like random like little knickknacks here and there. It's like no, I want to like actual Container Store.
Because when I best believe if I ever have enough money to build a house or buy like at least an empty lot where I can really design the house what I want, I'm gonna go to the Container Store because they have stuff where you can make like you could turn your kitchen into like a factory of just like slots of just like, oh snap, got my spice stuff, my pantry stuff, everything I need. All of it.
I love watching those videos where people restock their kitchens. It's like
Yeah.
so relaxing to me.
I saw this one guy who was critiquing this girl who would take all of her cereal, or was it her cereal? It was something, or it was like granola or something like that, and put it in like these glass containers to make it very like aesthetically pleasing. And the guy was like, how many hours in a day you got? First of all, it's enough work to drive to the store, get dressed, drive to the store, shop, pay, drive back home, take out all your groceries, put them on the shelf. Now you're making another task for yourself of taking out the food, putting it into another container, having all that. Like, it's too much. It's too much.
I would if I had the attention span. Well, I could do it one day if I'm hyper fixated, and enough Adderall. I would definitely love to do something like that, like have that organized. And I think it's great when it has like granola or like cereal because that stuff goes like stale to have those type of containers. But what I hate are the people who like pour like orange juice into a glass container
Oh
but they don't
yeah.
fill it up all the way, so you still have the plastic bottle with orange juice. I'm like, what are you doing with that? Where does
So
that
now
go
you have
now?
two things.
Yeah, they have like these really narrow, like nice plastic containers, but you have like a gallon of orange juice. Is that now just in the garage fridge? Like, what is going on? What are you doing with all these extra liquids? And you also open them, so they're not going to stay fresh for very long either now.
I the only time I've ever done that is on accident of like having more than one container of the same thing, and it's like, why do you have this then?
Why do you have so many milks?
And you can't contaminate it. You can't take the milk from what, even the same brand. You can't take that old milk and put it in the new milk because now
Yeah.
it ain't gonna be new milk no more. Now it's gonna be me. I don't know, like mid milk, and it's just it's not fresh, but it's not old either. It's in the middle.
It's limbo milk.
Yeah, purgatory milk is not milk anybody wants.
Purgatory milk. Anyway, let's start this podcast. Let's start this,
milk.
whatever
All
this episode is.
right. I am recording.
I too am recording.
All right.
As of late, I've been playing a lot of shooter video games, and I've been surprisingly getting good at playing the finals, especially. And so now I feel like a little, and sometimes I get giddy whenever I get like, I'm like, just I do something cheeky or something that shit on paper is stupid, but it works somehow. And I feel like a little kill goblin because I'm like,
The fuck?
and it's just like I'm a kill goblin. Just a little goblin on the battlefield killing people in the cheekiest ways possible and being like, ha ha, bye.
Oh Lord. I don't have a comment to that.
It's okay. If you play video games, you'd understand because then you'd be a kill goblin too. And then you'd
How
be
dare
like, oh
you?
man, this is cute.
I guess that's something a kill goblin. I try to play video games, but like every time I go to relax, something comes up, and now I try not to relax because the universe seems to not want me to. So I'm gonna just listen to the universe and stay stressed out all the time.
You just gotta find your thing that like you can make time for it and relax even when you're doing stuff. Like for me, I listen to music, and that normally like even when I'm like busy, I'm still like chilled out. I'm in my zone.
So I have this game really quick. It's called Car Jam, where you just put like, there's a blue person, you put them in the blue car, green person, put them in the green car, stuff like that, right? And you try to get them all out and lined up in the colored car. My mom is like, I was explaining the game to her because she's like, you sound distracted. I'm like, yeah, I'm playing my little Car Jam. And I explained the game to her, and she goes like, oh, so you're segregating them on different buses. I was like, so now anytime I mention the game, she's like, oh, your segregation game? And I'm like, really? Really? They're purple and green people.
No, I said the same thing to some coworkers at PAXI, and it made them laugh, but it was also like, oh my god, that's so tragic. I was like, yeah, like because I was joking, but I was like, yeah, I can't play Pokemon anymore ever since I found out that they encourage dog fighting. And they're like, what? I'm like, think about it. You are literally capturing wild animals for the express purpose of using them to fight other captured wild animals.
You make it sound like it's legit and there's like actual dog fighting going on. Don't scare me like that. Because I still play it randomly. Like once in a while, I remember it exists and I like play. I'm thinking they're supporting dogs.
It made them laugh, but they were like, "Oh my god, you're so right. Though you are just capturing wild animals out of their habitats to take them to places to fight other captured wild animals, and for what? Pins to put in your little like little collapsible
Not even money.
case. No, sometimes money too. You get paid for every battle you win, which also don't make no sense because it's like, yes, you beat my wild animals. Here, have $1,000.
Technically, I think it's Stardust.
No one put a bet down. They're just giving you the money.
Pokemon Go, you don't get money. You get like Stardust or something.
Pokemon Go doesn't count. I mean real Pokemon.
Oh. Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
Boo, boo, boo.
And 3, 2, 1. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the First Ones to Die podcast. My name is Jonathan, and it's another beautiful week, another beautiful podcast episode, and I'm here with two beautiful people, Alex and Jerome. How are y'all doing today?
Got that good energy today, huh?
Like, well, Jonathan, we're here in sunny California. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. I get annoyed when no lie, I get annoyed at the news people when it's like 4 or 5 a.m. and they're like, all right, starting our day off Monday morning.
It's like, shut the hell up. There ain't nobody want to hit it.
Tell me if I need a jacket or not. I don't care.
Let's skip all this.
Just, I'm taking a trip to the station. I'm skipping work today to beat some ass. I'm coming over there.
Oh my god, there is this one weatherman who like incorporates songs into his actual news stories. Like he'll find a way to say the lyrics to a song when he's pointing out the weather. I don't remember what his name is, but I gotta find him. He's so funny because he's done like rap songs to pop songs to like country songs. He's able to incorporate them surprisingly well that they sound natural when he's just pointing out the weather. And it's like, that's funny. That's how you get the youth of America to watch the local news in the morning.
There's this,
I don't know why. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I watch my local news and the Today Show every single morning before work. And there's this one weather woman. And she, like, you could tell she's like Marshawn Lynch. I'm here so I don't get fined. She literally was just like, all right, today, yeah. No, she does the traffic. Does she do traffic or weather? I think she does traffic. Either way, she's just like, yeah, all right, so here's what it's looking like outside. All right, back to you. All right, you got to get to work, so there you go. And at first I was annoyed, but now thinking about it right now, I'm like, yeah, good on her. It's early, and yeah.
No, you know what it is? She wanted the main anchor position, and she did not get it. So they're like, we're going to keep you on traffic. And she's like, well, fine, I'll do traffic, but I'm not going to be happy about it.
That's right. I mean, you guys mentioning that. Do you guys remember Yannick Garcia when she was big on like the internet? She's this weather woman who I remember, I think I was in like just out of college when like she was all over the internet, and I was like, why does everyone care about this weather woman? I just heard the name. Then I saw who they were talking about. This is the weather woman in Mexico. I don't know what station.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She was all over the internet for a long time, down to the point where people were worried about like asking about like her relationship to her dude, and he got a lot of hate when he broke up with her too. They're like, how dare you break up with this beautiful woman? This beautiful weather woman, she tells us the weather.
When you get the whole internet on your side during a breakup, that gotta feel powerful.
Well, what's funny too is how that she is the Mexican Mexican weather woman, because all I typed was Spanish weather woman, and this she came because I couldn't remember her name.
Racist.
It's not racist. She does speak Spanish. And she's a weather woman. But she is beautiful though. She's got it going on. I'm sure she's doing great. She seems like a really nice person.
I used to love watching weather bloopers. Yeah, I used to watch watching weather bloopers a lot.
That's just, you just say that makes me think of like the station was like, yeah, so what section is the best? You know what? The weather section seems to get a lot of traction. We don't know what that's about. But
I thought you were gonna say, I, why do I see a Lucky Charms commercial with Travis Kelce? Anyway,
He's got a
that
new
I
show.
thought I thought
He
you
has
were
a
gonna
new
say,
show?
No, he's going to be in a
Grotesquerie.
new show. But
What
Grotesque.
show?
yeah, Grotesquerie. Yeah.
Oh, I watched sorry, I didn't mean to change the subject on
It's
you,
all right.
Jonathan. No, go ahead. Finish what you were saying.
No, I was just gonna say the blooper on the blooper topic when the guy was like, "Check your panties." A new study has found that one in, and then he goes back. He's like, "Oh, that meant to say check your pantries," and then then they start dying.
I literally always quote the one where you guys have heard me where the woman's looking at her. It's two women. She's looking at herself in the monitor, and she's like, "I'm so pale."
I love
And
that.
then she
That's classic.
her coworker elbows her, and she's like, "In today's news," and I will quote that anytime I feel a little pale myself. I'm like, "I'm so pale.
I'm so pale.
I'm so pale."
My favorite is still the woman who cannot get herself together after reading the news story
Christopher
about
P.
how
Bacon.
no, not that one, but that was
Oh,
also
that
funny.
one?
No, where it's like it was some club where there was a carbon monoxide leak and everyone was fine, but the people affected, it was a furry convention in this club. And so she's watching the footage of all these people in costume walk out the club and she is dying and while she's trying to read this tragic news of this carbon monoxide leak that could have killed all these people, and she's steady like, I'm sorry, I can't do it.
That's
I'm like, you better be
fair.
lucky nobody died, because if they had, you would look so bad right now.
I was thinking about the woman who talked about Chris P. Bacon. It was a pig that was going around. It was a cop pig and going around teaching kids about law and blah blah blah. And she's like, and the kids affectionately named him Chris P. Bacon, and she just lost her mind. And she's like, I can't, Chris P. Bacon. Oh my god, she just could not
That
breathe.
is an amazing name for a pig, though. An amazing and sort of like cruel name.
Morbid
for a pig.
name, yeah.
It's a little bit of both.
Because he fit to die.
No,
Not right now, but much later in the future.
I think it was also ironic that cops chose a pig as their mascot.
Oh, they knew. They were intentional, I'm sure.
Anyway.
But anyway, Alex, how was your week?
How was your week, Alex?
It was fine. It was busy. I am going on a trip in a couple weeks, so I have been preparing to go on the trip in a couple weeks. I'm going with my mom on an Alaskan cruise, and I'm super excited. I'm also, again, a little nervous because I'm going to be stuck on a boat in the ocean.
How many
with
days?
My mother. 7 days. We leave on a Saturday, and then we arrive on a Saturday.
I feel like that's a good amount of time. It's not too long and not too short.
Yeah, because it's like I'm probably never going to do a cruise again. I splurged for like a balcony, so like I'm excited to like be able to just step out on it and like look out into the water. Although everybody keeps reminding me how dark it's going to be.
Oh yeah, I think we were talking about that at some point.
I mean, it is and isn't. The boat's so lit up that you'll be fine.
Yeah, but you
won't
can't
be able to see past the boat,
Yeah.
Except for you'll see the Coast Guard boat circling, protecting you guys.
I have intrusive thoughts. I have very loud intrusive thoughts.
Well, as long as you don't act on the intrusive thoughts, I think you're good.
Well, no, that's like that TikTok I saw.
They're so loud.
Huh? What? Sorry.
I said they're so loud though.
Oh, I was like that TikTok of just like when you're standing over a tall building and then the intrusive thoughts come in like, jump off! I was like, ah! And I'm like, that's me, because I have been on tall buildings, and that is the first thing I think is like, if I jump, what would happen? It's like, what would happen. The rational brain is like, exactly what would happen. Let's not do that.
There's a TikTok my sister sent me like years back, and I still watch it sometimes because it's so funny. She's like, oh, this made me think of you. And it's a guy in his car. He's sitting down, like he's parked and everything. He's like, what if I just, and he took his wheel and went like, no. But what if I just, he's like, no. And he takes a sip of water, and then he's like, well, no. And sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I'll sit in my car and be like, what if I just.
That's
What
like
happens if I go over the bridge in the water? Like,
that's like when you see like whenever I'm in like a mall or that type of structure, and you have the floors that go up, and you're on like the top floor, uh, and then you have like the railing in the balcony, and you can see all the people down. It's like those intrusive thoughts. It's like, what would happen if like I just climbed over this railing and just jumped off? And it's like, it's you don't ever. You're not. I'm not ever gonna act on it, but it's like you have those intrusive thoughts.
Yeah. Although one dude did a video that I was like, that is totally, and maybe it's just me and I guess him, but he's like what guys think about, and it's like the sketch is like his wife is telling him, or girlfriend's telling him her day, and he's just like zoning out, and then all of a sudden like a dude breaks in and it becomes like an action movie. He pulls out a pistol out of nowhere and starts like gunning down the the people. He's like fighting, like kicking ass, and I was like, why is it like, I'm like, I feel so seen. Because as a dude, I have had many a times daydreaming and zoning out, thinking like, man, if an action movie busted out right now, I would whoop some ass, knowing full damn well that would not happen. That's not a scenario. I'd be on the floor with everybody else, hoping that Jesus allows me to live that day.
I think that's like everybody's thought when they go through those scenarios. One that's called maladaptive daydreaming, where you kind of create scenarios and worlds in your head. I do that often. Sometimes I'll zone out, and people will try to talk to me. I was like, "What?" They're like, "Where'd you go?" I'm like, "I don't know anymore. Some other world, somewhere else,
I
some
was
weird."
in Hawaii for a solid 25 seconds.
I'm just saying, listen, if like, like Baron Zemo came in here, I'd be out here like maybe I'd find out I'm the Manchurian Candidate or something, and my powers would activate, and then I'd be out here doing kung fu on fools, knocking them out, take the gun, switch this way, blam, blam, everybody going down, and then I'm a hero and I'm on the news. It's great.
I think if that ever happened to me, I just realized how fast of a runner I actually am. I don't like. I want to say I'm going to fight or be calm in the situation. Nope. I'll suddenly realize, wow, I'm actually pretty fast. I can actually move pretty quickly. But other than that, my week's been pretty good. Like I said, just planning for the trip, getting everything organized. Jerome's been nice enough to agree to watch Cheddar for the first few days while I'm gone, because my sister's working. Yeah.
He's going to eat me, but that's all right.
He just likes to nibble on people a little bit. It's fine. It was weirdly hard to find somebody to care for him. So my sister works overnight, so it was hard for her to like watch him the first 3 days. So I kept trying to find somebody. I was like, oh, I can just leave him at our friend's house. And she's like, oh, I'm going out of town. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And another friend, I was like, can you just take him? I was trying to get somebody to just take him for the full week. So I didn't have to have somebody like break up. And literally the few people I asked were all going out of town. And I was like, what the hell? So I was like, all right, maybe I could find somebody who could just watch him the first 3 days and the second 3 days. And luckily Jerome was available for the first 3 days. And that way I was like, all right, this seems easier. So I was like, a couple of people, I was like, can you just watch him for 3 days? And they're like, no, we're out of town for a full week. I was like, where the fuck are you going? Why is everybody leaving town in October?
Right. That's not even like a vacation.
It's the cheapest time. Like, no, that's exactly why, because it's not the vacation time. So you can get cheap rates on a lot of the places you're trying to go.
That's kind of true, because like this is the end of the season of travel time, because we're going on the last boat of the season. And it's going to be freezing. So cold. But I kind of like being cold because I'm like warm all the time. But I know when I get to the actual Alaska weather, I'm probably going to be like, nope, cold is not for me. I'm out. How's your week been, Jerome?
Oh, actually, I'll let Jonathan go because I have a lot to say. So,
uh-oh.
No, it's nothing bad.
As opposed to...
I always do like all the media news and stuff. So, Jonathan, you go.
All right. My week's been good. This past week was like a cool down from the previous 2 weeks where, we opened a restaurant at my job and had a whole bunch of other stuff as well. The week before, I got to go to the Usher concert. Usher.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. It was really cool. Like he was able to put on a show, I feel like just over 2 hour show, all hits, like every single song I was singing along to, and
He
that's
has enough
impressive.
of them. He's
Yeah,
he's got a huge discography. You know, he's got a lot of great songs.
Like no artist can really do that. Like, well, there are some, but like relatively,
No,
like
I see what you mean. Like it's a rare quality nowadays of like an artist that can really like fill up 2 hours with like banger after banger after banger. Like it's just no skips. But normally it's like artists who have like they have the discography long enough to do it because you know the Beyoncé's. When I went to the Gorillaz concert, it was like that where Gorillaz was amazing. Like it was, you know. So I'm glad he could still do it, and he kept himself in great shape, so he can still do them moves. He still can bust out, take off the shirt so the ladies can see the abs.
Oh, he was doing more than that. At one point, he stuck his hand right down his pants during during I think it was which song was it? Nice and Slow. It was during Nice and Slow.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Yes,
that makes sense.
And then there was this bar area near like the section with the standing room, and he had pole dancers on the sides of each side of the bar. And then at one point he goes to the bar. He is like, "Who wants their cherry popped?" And then he feeds he feeds women in the audience cherries. Yes. But he's like teasing them with this, so they have to like stick their tongue out and grab the cherry very suggestively.
You see, this is like, okay, I'd like, for context, the girl I'm seeing right now, we had a whole discussion about this because she was talking about Usher. She was like, I haven't seen him live, but I want to see him live. And I'm like, which, mind you, we're not exclusive, so it's not like she's my girlfriend or anything. But I was just like, listen, my girl, I'm just saying, if I'm bringing my girl to the Usher concert, she better not get her ass up on that stage.
Wasn't there like a video where this girl did get pulled up on stage and like they focused on the guy and he just looked pissed? He was like,
yeah, it was a whole news story. I investigated because I was invested in that story. I was like, I need to know what happened. Apparently, first of all, they broke up. Secondly, but to be fair, to the credit, it's not like the average, because normally, like, if she just went up there, that's whatever. But she done got on her knees and she's like by his pants and stuff. She's giving him a full lap dance like behind the thing, and then on top of that, she went all the way backstage with him for God knows how long, because this man, they got to the point where someone filmed him leaving the concert practically by himself. So I guess he had to meet up with her after the concert.
He walks to the car alone.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, at that point, I mean, we got problems.
It's like, with all fairness, this woman saw her opportunity and she took it.
And now she's paying the consequences for it. Now she got her opportunity and now she's single.
I feel like
worth it? That's the question.
Probably.
She does say that she did say that she was trying to, like, she wanted to like continue the relationship, but he was just like, nah, that's over. I think it's more just the fact that she left him, less so that she went on the stage. I think it's that she left and how much she did do on stage, because I think he was cool with her getting on stage, you know. But the like Usher's the same. I mean, granted, it doesn't sound like he pulled anybody on stage, but still, you trying to get people caught up, make them think they got a chance, even though you married. Exactly.
That's why he has a song.
Now we gonna go home and we gonna do what grown folks do in the bedroom the whole time. She's saying she's thinking about you. She didn't think about me. For no reason, she's going to be all like, babe, bring cherries to the bedroom. What the fuck you want cherries for? Yeah.
I saw this little trick. But the concert was good. He brought out Boyz II Men and LL Cool J.
Oh, cool. So
that was really cool.
LL Cool J just had an album come out actually recently.
Oh, really? Oh,
Mhm.
nice.
I didn't know Boyz II Men was still
eh,
performing.
Yeah, they actually performed at the Hollywood Bowl like a few days prior, so I think they were like in town for that.
Boys to
Oh,
Men,
cool.
it's back again. I'm sorry, I had to.
There we go.
I love Boys to Men.
Really quick, about the restaurant opening. Like, were we allowed to mention that on the last podcast? Because we wanted to. We were gonna say something, but then we're like, "Wait, are we allowed to or not?" So we did it. We didn't say
Oh
anything,
yeah.
but we
Oh
were like, we didn't know what.
no, it was announced. It was announced that it was opening on the 25th.
See,
So,
Okay.
I was right.
I was just to quote me. I said like, "You'll never know with Jonathan. Sometimes it's government secrets around here." So I just
Yeah, because I'm like, I know we're not allowed to talk about things, and like, all right, are we or are we not? Because like, I know there's like, you have the social media event
Yeah.
going on. We're supposed to wait out. So okay, but I was right. I like being right. That's it. That's my point of that.
I know. I always just like anytime I'm like, should I mention this? I always like to keep it safe, and I'll usually mention it to you guys like before or after the podcast. Or if it accidentally gets mentioned on the podcast, I'll say, "Hey, can we cut this out?" So
We do.
That sounds like you had a good time at the Usher concert.
yeah. And then at one point he sang to there were a few like celebrity guests in the
Did
audience.
Alicia Keys come through?
No. But I was singing the Alicia Keys part during my boo. So
who sang it
so
then?
that-
Did he just have like a backup singer sing that
I
part?
think it was just the track that was their part.
Okay.
Yeah. But he had like there was like a live band and stuff, so and he had like the background singers and stuff.
No,
but,
Gorillaz
like,
does that too for their featured artists. They'll have like a video of them performing their part. It really is a track, for the featured artists.
Yeah, I'm at the end of this month I'm going to see K Tronada. So I'm excited to see like what he does if he brings out people like because he has a lot of featured vocalists on his songs. So I'm curious to see if he brings out people or if like he'll incorporate some unique way that the singer is featured. But he sang at one point. He sang to Angel Reese. Angel Reese was there. Jennifer Hudson was there. He had her sing a little part of the song. And then Ty Dolla $ign was there, but he didn't sing to him. He just said, "Hey, Ty Dolla $ign is here." So
This is like a lot of fun. That's a lot of like guests he had.
yeah, it was. I recommend it. Anyone who's going to see the show within the next few weeks, I recommend it.
But he's already passed through Seattle, so at the beginning of the tour, so we've lost that out. Well, I guess we could always show. I'm not going out of state. Well, I feel like it's actually cheaper nowadays to go out of state for concerts. Seattle tickets are insane.
Yeah. Kaylee does it all the time.
That's true.
Jerome, how was your week? And what do you have for us?
It's good. Been chilling, watching a lot of stuff. Been trying to first of all, there's a lot of movies in the theaters right now I want to see. Some of which are getting bad reviews, but I don't care. I'm gonna still watch them anyway. Because I still gotta watch Joker 2. I gotta watch. I want to watch that new Sebastian Stan movie. I forget the name of it.
Him and the guy.
Yeah. Dang it, what's that movie? A Different Man. I want to see A Different Man.
Oh, that is him in it. I saw the preview, but it looked like him and it didn't look like him to me. I was also half watching the preview.
I really want to see that movie. And then also want to see there's so many. With Smile 2 coming out, I might watch that.
We should review that. Didn't we review the first Smile?
No, we all saw it, but we didn't review it because it wasn't on the plan on the docket. So, but I want to see it because I wasn't into I honestly wasn't gonna watch the first one until my ex wanted to watch it, and then it was like, oh, actually, this is actually pretty good. I'll watch the next one. Wild Robot. That's what I want to see. I haven't seen the Wild Robot yet. I gotta see that movie. And then I gotta also see Transformers 1. So I got so many movies to see. And Saturday Night's coming out soon. So I gotta see Saturday Night.
It's already out, right?
It might be in certain theaters.
I think it's maybe out in LA.
it comes out next week, officially, like everywhere. So there's just so many movies I need to go see. Piece by Piece also comes out next week too. So it's like I'm gonna be at the theater for a long time. These upcoming
when you go
this whole
see
this whole
Saturday
month.
Night Live, let me know. I'll go with you.
Okay.
I really want to see that one.
There's a lot of stuff on.
The Substance. That's the other movie I want to see too. I got to go to select
yeah.
theaters for that too because it's only at certain spots. Alex, you should come with me to see The Substance. I hear it's like a really interesting like horror movie type thing. The Substance is like a body morphia type thing about this model who finds out about this substance that'll make her like younger, but it's kind of like I've heard it's really like crazy and the trailer looks crazy. It stars Dennis Quaid, Margaret Qualley, and Demi Moore. It looks good. I'm excited for it.
There's a lot of stuff on like streaming that I literally had to make a list because when I passed through like Sunset here, they literally have every single streaming platform has their own huge billboard or series of billboards, and so they're all advertising all their different shows and movies. So I literally this weekend I made a list of all the shows that I saw that I want to check out, and there's a lot of them.
There's a lot coming out in this fall season. It's crazy.
So much. Like that show. I made a list. Sorry to detract from yours, Jerome, but I made a list. House of Spoils. I don't know what it's about, but the poster looks cool. There's a show called Brothers with Peter Dinklage and.
Oh yeah!
I saw that.
It's a movie.
I thought it was a movie. Yeah,
it might be a movie. There's a show with Gael Garcia Bernal and Diego Luna that I want to watch.
I know the show. I can't remember what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Again, the poster looked interesting. I need to watch the Menendez Brothers show.
Yeah,
it's been a couple weeks. Mm-hmm. The Franchise, I really want to watch that show. It's on HBO Max.
Me too.
I think it's coming,
when that comes out,
I think it just came out, or
I think so, or I think it's coming.
It just came out. I've
out.
seen it because I watched Salem's Lot. They had a new.
I feel like it gives. I feel like it kind of gives. From the poster, at least. Again, I haven't seen anything.
Oh, the Franchise came out today, actually. So yeah.
Okay. I feel like it kind of gives The Boys vibe without like maybe some of the darkness of The Boys. Seems like a little bit more lighthearted. There's a show called Teacup on Peacock, and again, no idea what it's about. And Nobody Wants This on Netflix. I've seen people on social media saying that's good.
I keep debating watching it because the trailer looked good, and I like Kristen Bell a lot. So
my mom actually did watch that show. She recommended it to me. She said it was pretty good. She said the ending was not what she exactly wanted, but she said she really liked the show a lot, and it's only 8 episodes, so you can actually finish that pretty quick.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah. She enjoyed it though. She thought it was funny.
Okay, I'll have to check it out. And then the last one was also there was one more I started on Netflix, but I can't remember what it is. But there's one, How Not to Die Alone, with Natasha Rothwell. That also looks good.
Nice. Yep.
But Jerome.
So yeah, I mean, so just all that to say, so I've been watching a lot. I've been trying to catch up to. I think it's because of the strikes why everything's coming out in fall, and so. But I'm happy for it. It just means I got plenty of content to watch. I got plenty of things to do, plenty of reasons to be out the house. But first, just to get out the way the small stuff. There's some trailers that came out this past week that have been pretty interesting. We got a new trailer for Nosferatu. Still looks good. Can't wait. It looks super exciting. It looks like Alicia Vikander is going to be out here.
Don't say too much.
Yeah, Alicia Vikander is just going to be out here acting her ass off. Or is that Alicia Vikander? I'm sorry. I think that's her, right? Where is she? Oh, sorry. I don't know why I said that. Lily Rose Depp. Different actress completely.
Different people.
She reminds me of Alicia Vikander for some reason. But Lily Rose Depp looks like she's acting her ass off doing the damn thing. So good for her. Same thing with Nicholas Hoult as well. So I'm excited. It looks good.
I'm doing my best to avoid like watching previews. And I look ridiculous in theaters Anytime it comes
So,
up,
like this,
I'm like suddenly like peeking away. Whoever I'm with, I'm like, you gotta tell me. And I'm like,
that's why I
no.
get to the. That's why I don't leave the house until the scheduled time of the movie. Because AMC,
AMC will play you a whole
Yeah.
damn like novels worth of trailers before you actually get to see your movie.
No kidding.
And then we also got a trailer for a movie coming out in January called Wolfman. I think it's supposed to be like a reboot of the Wolfman from Universal. Hard to tell, to be quite honest, because it's
They
not
might
like
be
the
trying
character's
that
not Larry.
monster franchise again.
No, this looks like it's going to be its own thing, kind of like how the Invisible Man was its own thing. This looks like it's going to be its own thing of just like its own horror movie. But it is directed by Lee Winnell, which is exciting because I like Lee Winnell. He did, I'm pretty sure he did. Well, he did the Invisible Man. Actually, he's the writer for that movie. And he also is because he's known for like a bunch of things. He's acted, he's directed. Okay, so it looks like he was the writer for Invisible Man. So it's exciting. I like Lee Winnell, so I'm excited to see what he does. He's also known for Saw as well, being both playing in it and writing it. I think he was like one of the writers for Saw. So it looks interesting. I'm excited for it. The only thing that concerns me is it coming out in January because that's the graveyard, as I call it, where all movies go to die. So, or movies that are dead on arrival already. So we'll see. Could be fun. And then also last trailer I think that's worth mentioning is because I don't think we mentioned it last week, but we have a trailer for Ballerina, the new John Wick spin-off movie starring Ana de Armas as a ballerina who's also a assassin, badass. John Wick is in the movie. He was in the trailer. So we are going to see Keanu Reeves. How much of him is going to be in the movie? Hard to tell. But it looks like this is very much a separate story. It's its own thing that just so happens to be in the John Wick universe. So it looks cool. It looks interesting. I'm sure for a lot of because I remember when John Wick came out, shortly after that, Atomic Blonde came out, starring Charlize Theron. And a lot of people were like, hey, it's a female John Wick. But it didn't really deliver, I think, for some people as much as John Wick did. Because it had the action, it didn't have the style. And so I think this movie is maybe looking to rectify that, because it definitely has the style. It looks like John Wick is very colorful. You know, the colors pop, but also the violence is very like John Wick-esque. So maybe for those looking for a female John Wick movie that they can be like, oh man, it's John Wick, but a woman. Now they can get a second attempt at that with Ballerina, because it does look good. It looks cool. So I'm excited for it. It looks interesting. And it comes out June of 2025, I think. So excited for that. But as far as like things I've been watching a lot of stuff. Firstly, I started watching Yellow Jackets, and I like it. It's good. I mean, I've heard it's good, but I didn't have Showtime, so I couldn't watch it. But now it's on Netflix and Paramount Plus. So I've been watching it on Netflix, the first season. It's interesting. I'm interested. I'm like super excited to find out more about it, and what's going on in the show and unlock the mystery. Although I was spoiled, I knew that it was about these girls.
Wait, don't spoil.
Listen to what I have to say first.
We got to put that one and out before.
About what these girls do in the mountains and stuff. I knew what happened, so like for me, I was like, oh, okay. When do we get to that part though? So just I won't spoil it for you, audience. But just it's a fun show. Watch it if you get a chance. It's really great. Also, Legend of Vox Machina just put out their third season. It's still good. I'm a huge D&D nerd, so it's all I'm about it. So they just dropped their first 3 episodes. Also, think of animation. Uzumaki finally came out. It is the animation based off of the horror anime Uzumaki of the same name by horror writer Junji Ito. It's so creepy. Every Junji Ito story is so creepy and weird. And Uzumaki's easily one of the most famous ones because it has some of the most famous imagery. If you like horror and you like cartoons, it's on Max. Episodes come out a day after they come out on TV on Max, so you can watch it. So far, only the first episode's out. I think the second episode comes out today. At the time of this recording. So check it out. If you like a horror anime project, the animation's great. It's all in black and white, just like the comic. So that makes it even more creepy. And it's just a lot of body horror and a lot of weird imagery. It's gross and weird, but in a fun way. Especially with this being spooky season, I think Uzumaki's a fun watch. And then still keeping up with Agatha all along. Show's getting good, although I think the show is very much wrapped in its cheesiness, because once again we have another singing montage in which they sing another song. In fact, the same song they sang the first time, but now and rock with piano included. And it's like, y'all gonna do the whole song again? But the acting is great. I love all the characters. They're doing a great job. Catherine Hahn is amazing and looking fine as hell. I'm sorry. This episode in particular, she had an outfit on. I was like, damn, Catherine Hahn, you got it like that though. You out here looking good. Aubrey Plaza too. And but their acting though is really what makes the show pop. She's still great as Agatha. I'm still not in love with the show, but it is good. I think it is a good show. It's a nice side thing in the Marvel universe. So don't go in there expecting to see a bunch of cameos and stuff. It's really just its own thing in the magical part of the Marvel universe. But it's fun. If you want to watch a witchy thing, it reminds me a lot of Hocus Pocus with how zany and off the walls it gets a little bit. So if you like it, if you're missing some Hocus Pocus vibes, watch Agatha all along. You might like it. Also watching The Penguin. Penguin's good. If you haven't watched The Penguin yet so far, only 2 episodes are out. 3rd episode comes out today. It's good. Watch The Penguin, especially if you like the Batman. Good show. Colin Farrell, amazing. Kristen Milioti, amazing. And then the last thing on my list that I saw, speaking of going to the theater, I decided to start my trek to the theater by watching a movie I'm sure I could get nobody else to watch with me, and I'm honestly glad I didn't drag anyone with me to watch because I would have felt bad. Megalopolis. Thinking of Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah, I said immediately no.
Came out.
Yeah,
it came out I think last week or the week before last week.
I'll go to a lot of movies with you, but immediately that was I think we saw the preview and you were like, I want to see that. I'm like, no, I'll go see other movies with you. I don't care, but I'm absolutely. I'm don't even ask.
Me and everybody else in the theater were just there's a couple beside me in particular that we were trying not to laugh because it was just so ridiculous, and it's just a shame because I was giving the movie a lot of credit because I was Francis Ford Coppola is the director. B, it's I'm always down for a passion project, and when a director's I've been working on this movie for 40 years, and finally it's out, I'm okay, cool. Cast is interesting. And it was not getting good buzz coming out of the festival circuit, but I was I'm willing to give it a chance. I don't like listening to critics all the time when it comes to movies. I'm let me watch the movie myself. Let me make my opinion. And the movie is not a failure completely, but it damn sure ain't a movie. It's
Grace Vanderwaal is in this. Oh, cool.
It is very much a fever dream is what it feels like, because the movie just has no flow at all. It is just
Shia LaBeouf, Chloe Fineman. Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
So it's you're saying it's more like an art piece than it is a film.
Very much so, because it's because there's definitely and especially when it gets to the visuals, because visually the movie is beautiful. A lot of the visuals are really cool and interesting, but the movie is trying to be this because it's all over the marketing material. Megalopolis, a fable, and I'm you seem to have forgotten the part about how fables are still stories. They're not just fantastical elements with a message at the end. They have a story. I have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And this movie struggles to do that. It's like like especially because the beginning feels like we're going somewhere. It's a little zany, a little madcap, but we're going somewhere. And then the second half is like, huh? What was I talking about? And it's like, you were talking about, oh, don't worry about that. Anyway, so have you heard about this other thing? And it just goes off the rails with thoughts where you're like, what are you talking about? What is happening?
Well, the
The
preview
budget-
itself doesn't look like it makes any sense. It looks like it's erratic.
Because I can't imagine trying to market this movie because there's no way you can explain it.
Well, this was the movie, and I forgot about this. This was Catherine Hunter's in this. Lawrence Fisher. Dang. This was the movie that got in trouble for using fake pull quotes in marketing.
It did.
Wait, fake what?
And
movie quotes.
pull quotes,
Yeah.
like
fake reviews of other movies to try and be like, basically the fake reviews were trying to make the implication because Megalopolis was getting bad press, so they put out a trailer with fake reviews to say, well, you know, look at these other Francis Ford Coppola movies that are now considered classics, like Apocalypse Now got bad reviews, Godfather got bad reviews, Dracula got bad reviews, but look at them now. And then only to come to find out, yeah, those reviews didn't happen. And also some of the movies they were pointing to, it was like, and also, I mean, listen, I respect Dracula. It's not a great movie. Because Gary Oldman's great, but Keanu Reeves' entire performance in that movie is trash.
Like him alone.
This movie bombed at this movie. The budget was 120 to 136 million,
and
and
all
so
of Francis
far
Ford Coppola's own money, by the way.
It's made 8.5 million at the box office.
Yeah,
Ooh,
made
that's
4 million on opening weekend. 4 million opening weekend.
They didn't even market it that well. I didn't even know that it was out.
Because you cannot market this movie. It's impossible. You want to talk about an impossible feat? Trying to market this movie and convince anybody that there is a coherent story being told. And I mean, like, it's just because the movie goes all over the place. Characters make decisions or just disappear. And you're just like, what happened? And then it's like, and a lot of times it's just like, and it's a shame too, because all the actors are pretty good, all things considered. Like, they're not awful. But
as a person in marketing, look, I'll help them market it right now. You get even if you got half the cast together to sit on a couch and did the late night circuit, they went to one of the Jimmys, they did an interview there, boom, you already bumped yourself up $10 million. What else? Do those the things where you get like BuzzFeed and they're playing with the puppies, or they do the best friends quiz. Do some of those. Get the social media people involved. There you go, another 20 million.
It's a shame too, because it's like, because despite what I'm saying about the movie and like its storytelling, I get the movie. I understand what it's trying to say. I get the message entirely. But the way it goes about saying the message is so like pretentious and up its own ass at times, because it's not like it's a bad message. It's a good message, I think, for the most part. I wish it was a little more open-ended, because it's a thing. It's a debate, really. It's not even really like a thing where it's like, no, this is the right way to see it and this is how it should be. I'm like, no, this is a debate, a very interesting debate, but a debate nonetheless. But Francis Ford Coppola, the way the movie plays out, it's like, no, this is the answer. But it's just like, by the time you reach the movie, and I've never seen an entire audience along with me want a movie to end so bad, because every time, because throughout the movie, there's like these little points where like,
and it's 138 minutes long. Dang.
Yeah, there's times where the movie will put up like text to essentially, I guess, make chapter breaks or whatever. And then Lawrence Fishburne is narrating all this, because he's a character in the movie, but he's also like the narrator of the movie a little bit. And he narrates these chapter breaks, and I could hear people groan like, like, because like
Just
we have
finish
more
the
movie. It's not over. I'm so tired.
Why
And
did
I was
they need a
expecting with them.
narrator?
I don't know. I guess because he wanted it to feel like a fable, where like fables are like storybook type things. So they wanted it to feel like a storybook type vibe, and it is fantastical to a degree, but to a point where like nothing really matters. Like Adam Driver, for example, and I can spoil this for you because it matters. It doesn't matter at all. He can control time in the movie, but not in like a. At first, you think it's a metaphorical thing. Like he can control time in the sense that like it only stops for him, but everybody else keeps going, kind of like Saved by the Bell type thing. No, but then another character sees him stop time, and then she can also stop time later in the movie because he teaches her how to do it. And you're like, okay, is this going to come into play at some point? No, it's just a thing that he could do. I guess the metaphor being that he's so in control of his dreams and fantasies that and is so free from the world's constraints that he can break space-time. But that's literally, if that is the reason, that's the only reason, as a metaphor to exemplify how this character is like free from the constraints of traditional life. That's it. And it's like, okay, then why even bring attention to this? Just let him control time, I guess. Don't even mention it. But I will admit, if there's any saving grace for me watching this movie out of everything, best part of the movie, Aubrey Plaza did look damn good in the movie throughout the film. I was mesmerized. Every time Aubrey Plaza, she plays like a reporter who's kind of like this femme fatale type character. So there's a lot of sex stuff with her. But I was just like, I'm not gonna lie though, Aubrey Plaza was sexy. She's doing the damn thing.
The one highlight.
Listen, I may have a crush on Aubrey Plaza, okay? Let me have my things. That's another movie I gotta see in theaters, actually. Thinking of Aubrey Plaza, I want to see My Old Ass, the movie that she's in. It looks like a good drama movie. I'm excited for that movie too. So go support Aubrey Plaza. Watch Agatha All Along. Watch My Old Ass, and then I don't know if you have time that you feel like you could waste or you want to have a good laugh. Watch Megalopolis.
I heard Aubrey Plaza is in contention. This is from a TikTok because I tried to look up the information afterwards and I couldn't find anything about it. But I heard that she was in contention for Ryan Murphy's American Crime Story, Casey Anthony. But I couldn't even find any information that said that he was even really making a Casey Anthony
story.
Yeah,
I mean, no, she did do a crime, but I mean, like a crime story in my mind is like, oh, there's a conspiracy or something really like elaborate happened. She's just abandoned her kid. That's the crime.
Well, because she
end of story.
Because she got away. Like she's not in jail. Like just
she
like
got away with it. She's not.
She got away with. She's not in jail.
Yeah, but she
didn't
go to trial. She just didn't get convicted.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, that happens all the time.
Right, and it happened with OJ, and they made a story about him.
Yeah, but OJ was like this big figure, and there's this big mystery of like,
but everyone knows who Casey Anthony's name is. Everyone knows who Casey.
I know. I'm just saying, like with OJ, there's like intrigue and mystery because we still don't actually know if he did it. It's just the evidence strongly points to him doing it, but there was no definitive like answer. So there was
technically same with Casey Anthony. There was a lot of like pointing to her, but it was never a definitive answer. It was a lot of how she reacted after her daughter's disappearance, where people are like, "This is not how a mother, should be acting after your kid literally, how old was Casey Anthony's kid?
She's like a toddler, I think,
2 or 3 or something.
Yeah, she's really young. Like, you would be worried. She's just chilling. She's going to parties and shit, and it's like, okay, all right, no, you did it. You absolutely
I guess that's
did
true.
Ryan Murphy, count Jerome out as a viewer, but me and Alex will be tuned in.
I've watched some of his stuff. I like Ryan Murphy stuff. I'm just saying. But yeah, so
again, I don't even think he's making it because I couldn't even. I looked it up. I'm like, ooh, I'd watch that, but I couldn't find anything about it. So I think it was just a lie.
I'm just saying. After watching Megalopolis, I was like, I didn't realize how much I was into Aubrey Plaza until after watching the movie. because I was like, and Agatha. I think it's the combination of because in Agatha all along she looks great in that movie too. And I've always thought she's an amazing actress. Like ever since I saw her in Scott Pilgrim, I've always been a fan of Aubrey Plaza's acting ability, and she's just been amazing in everything. Like Ingrid Goes West. What's the movie? Well, Scott Pilgrim for sure. She's great in that. She's great in so many projects. I love Aubrey Plaza and everything. Life After Beth. She's great. So I'm just like, I'm a huge Aubrey Plaza fan. And she just looks good. She's aging like fine wine. Just looks good. But speaking of attractive people, Uglies.
They finally made it.
You brought that back just so you could have
yes.
that.
You like the long lead up? See, the gears are turning.
Uglies. Uglies is a new film that just dropped on Netflix. It tells about a world in which a compulsory operation wipes out physical differences and makes everyone pretty. Wow, that makes it sound very... that doesn't sound like a real plot to a movie, but it is. The film stars Joey King, Brianna Tijoux, and Keith Powers, among others, Chase Stokes, Laverne Cox, and many, many more.
It's directed by Mick G and written by Jacob Foreman, Vanessa Taylor, and Whit Anderson.
Yes. So we watched this movie. Basically, if this is your first time listening to one of our reviews, we will first go over our non-spoiler thoughts. Did we like the movie? Did we not? Our overall thoughts. Then we will give you a warning before we transition into our spoiler thoughts on the film. Jerome,
excuse me. What
did you think of Uglies, Uglies?
Following off of Megalopolis, I feel like I'm just taking L's in the movie department as far as movies I watch. Because this movie, granted, this movie is not awful. I would watch this before I watch Megalopolis, but I feel like the whole time watching
it's about an hour shorter.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like watching this movie, I was like, man, I feel like I've died and gone all the way back to 2010 because that's where this movie belongs.
I had the same thought. I had the exact same thought.
This movie feels like watching Divergent all over again.
Listen. Okay, I was gonna save this for my thoughts, but now that you mentioned it, this movie, and bear with me because only us and our Usher friends will get this reference, but I'll try to explain it for everyone. I feel like this movie would have played in PACCAR for about a week, and half the showings would have been canceled.
Oh my God! Yeah,
people didn't go to the 10 p.m. showing.
Didn't show up.
We would have got our hours cut because
it's very true. Like this definitely was a movie at a certain point. I was like nothing's making sense. Why am I watching this? And it's a movie you definitely find back in the early 2010s where it was just that type of teen style movie. And these kids aren't like that nowadays.
When I knew we were in trouble? I knew we were in trouble when I found out the main characters' names were Tally Youngblood and Paris spelled with an E.
Why do I feel like they use Youngblood in so much stuff? I feel like
they
Youngblood
do. I've heard it quite a few times in things, and I think it's just supposed to be look, they're young, and it's just I don't think you need subtle hints to that. We get it. They look young. We know they're young.
But also, it's like this movie, and they better be lucky they didn't mention the towns that they live in this, because I was watching Amanda the Jedi's video on Uglies. Her doing a breakdown because she likes to read the books and then give you the differences between the book and the movie. And she was saying, yeah, apparently the place that the main character is in is called Uglyville and the city is called Pretty Town. And I was like, are you kidding me?
They did say that. They mentioned Pretty Town. Yeah, they said Pretty Town. They did not mention Uglyville, but they mentioned Pretty Town. I was like, so they're really just this is where pretty people live. That's it. It's like, okay, cool.
And from what I hear, this movie is like very much the book dumbed down. Like, so it's not like it's. So I'm not gonna say like the writer of the book is like this. So don't feel like I'm saying. I'm just saying the way that they like simplified this story down feels like a 6-year-old trying to tell you their own like dystopian future, because it's so surface of like, then they're like, because I could just easily hear, and then there's like this pretty town, and there's like, that's where the pretty people live. Oh yeah, where the ugly people live. They live in Uglyville, and there's like ugly people, and they have a thing, and they get in this tube thing, and like that's what it feels like the whole time watching the movie for me personally. But all that being said, I think the movie is like it's a nice like time capsule. It feels a little fun in that way of kind of watching movies from that time period. But it is very like, it's so simple, and it's like, and you can see all the twists coming from a mile away. All the characters feel so like paper thin. Like they don't feel very detailed and 3-dimensional, even though they do try to their credit, they try really hard to like give these characters more to do. But it's just a thing, and they've done the thing again, like even down to, you know how much it's like the 2010s like type era book movies, down to the point of like, you're supposed to be ugly, but their version of being ugly is either just not having makeup on or just looking a little ashy. That's it. And I'm like, just give some Neutrogena and you'll be all right.
Or not having blonde hair, because apparently having blonde hair makes everyone pretty.
And it always made me feel great growing up.
And it's like, on top of that, I'm like, and the world doesn't even make sense to me, because the idea is like, oh, well, all these people are now made attractive, so there's no differences amongst anybody. And I'm like, I'm sorry, how does this lead to world peace? Like, there's still black people and Asian people. And like, they're still gonna be like, I don't trust that nigga. They didn't fix that. Like, the racism will still exist.
Well, they did because, well, I can't say what they did also. But
I mean, yes, that's true. They do give an explanation. I was like, oh, okay, that makes a little more sense. But still, but to the credit, Laverne Cox is fun. She's fun as the main antagonist. And
she plays the role.
Yeah, she does. And also the effects in this too aren't great. They're so like wonky, and I don't know if it's because Netflix just didn't give them the budget to really like make the effects look great. And it's not so much the effects on like because the setting looks fine. I think that the effects on the setting look pretty good. It's the effects on, because, you know, for the pretty stuff, for the pretty people, they do a thing that I think is really cool in trying to make the pretty people look a little scary with how like symmetrical and like pretty they look, which is cool. But it's sometimes a little uncanny the way they do it. And I don't know if it's because of maybe the makeup they use, or if they use CG, or maybe a mixture of both. It's hard to tell. But if they did use CG, it looks a little rough. That's just my opinion. But overall, it's an inoffensive movie. Like, you could easily skip it if you don't want to, but don't like, or if you want to, but don't have any expectations going into this movie, because it's just going to be, you're going to be disappointed. I feel like.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, Alex, go ahead. What do you have to say?
Like basically your sentence of like, this movie does not belong in this time period. And it's understandable, because the book was actually written when I was in high school. And that was like over a decade ago. And that's when those type of books, you know, were there, you know, Uglies, Twilight, Looking for Alaska, you know, stuff like that. The movie just was so stupid. And the girl was like, it was just stupid. And I never read the book, but even the concept is stupid too. Because it's just they're like making a bunch of 16-year-olds pretty. I get it. It's the way to keep the world dumb, you know, outward appearance and everything like that. But also, they're taking a bunch of 16-year-olds, making them pretty, and then having them just party. It's like, is that really sustainable in life, though? Like, how is your economy working? How's everybody working when
Exactly.
everybody's just partying? And that's not like spoiling or anything. That's like in the previews and stuff. It's like, how is your basic economy functioning if like there's nobody doing anything? And it was just ridiculous. Also, some of the like the rebel group, their names were just Smoke.
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't call them the Smokies because that's what they're called in the book.
Oh, they're called the Smoke. Oh,
Well, it's
that
called
was,
the group is called the Smoke. If you're a part of the group, you are referred to as a Smoky.
I and the character also like switches best friends in the middle of the movie too, and it's like, wow, you really don't care
Yeah.
about like people in your life. You were just ready to be like, all right, they're gone. So like, here's my new
No
person.
hesitation either.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Like she was very self-centered, and it just like I have so many more complaints, but I can't say anything without saying actual spoilers. So just like, I didn't like this movie. I feel like they picked the wrong. They have to stop getting books from 2010. Yes, they were popular. Yes, it was cool, but it was that time period. You can't. Twilight made their movies back in the 2010s. That's when it should have been made. Back
Although
when
I
it
heard
was
there's a
like
Twilight
something.
series coming.
No, I don't want that.
Yeah, well, because they're out of ideas. The same thing with the Harry Potter series coming out, where I'm like, you are not going to top those movies. Why
But the thing
even
is,
bother?
there's still so many. Like, if you gotta like go for books, fine. But there are such good books nowadays that like
I don't
you
have an adaptation.
Right.
Yeah, and that like there are kids, that want to see their like I said with Twilight, it was made at the same time, just like almost after the book series. It was perfect. Like my age group had to see it. Now you're trying to get books from my age group up there, and it's like, no, those books were actually pretty bad. And most of the time they didn't have the best message all the time. So like look for the books of today and like see what kids are reading today and then have them, and then you'll probably get movies that are actually of this time period. And it was just like, yeah, it just gave me the ick because then it reminded me of all those other movies. And I was like, oh yeah, gross. What did you think, Jonathan?
Yeah, I second what you guys have said so far. Like I mentioned earlier, I was brought back to the times of watching these movies in the PACCAR IMAX theater, and I could see myself literally watching this movie in that theater and then getting my hours cut because nobody showed up to the 10 p.m. showing. And like literally,
Yeah.
literally, first of all, these people are playing. First of all, they're supposed to be ugly, which they're not, and they're supposed to be
Right.
16, which they're not.
Yeah.
I was curious to see everyone's ages. Joey King, she looks young. She's 25 in real life. But Mr. Chase Stokes is a 32-year-old man who is playing 16. Netflix, y'all got to stop with this. You did this with Never Have I Ever, with having the guy who had the 4 o'clock shadow play the love interest of this girl who looked like she was 16 years old. And, I didn't really give you a pass on that, but it was enough there, and it needs to be enough now. Netflix, please just cast appropriate aged people in these roles.
It's the same thing with Keith Powers. He's 32.
Yeah. Oh
And,
my
like-
gosh. See,
Oh, that's
The
right.
whole time I was like, you are a grown man.
Get away from those children. You are a grown ass man.
Because don't get me wrong, Joey King is also older. She's 25, but she still does look like a teenager.
She looks young. She still
She looks
young.
very young.
But she ain't ugly. All right. So
Oh no. That's why I mean there's the scene where she's like, show me what I look like pretty, and I'm like, bitch, that's still you with makeup.
All she did was change eye color and hair color.
You know what?
Like,
Actually, you mentioned the way it looks, and I saw somebody mention it on TikTok, where they're like, really, these people are just using the bold filter from TikTok. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that, but it looks exactly like this.
Yeah.
Whereas like that face, and it's like that gives the Uncanny Valley vibe there, and it's just like, okay, I don't think I'd ever want to look like this. Is this your standard of pretty? Because it ain't mine. I don't know what's going
Well,
on there, but like,
especially because it's not like I'm like Netflix. You act like y'all are acting like you didn't do this same thing in The Witcher. In The Witcher, what's her name?
Jennifer?
Yennefer. Yennefer has a whole story arc, and they made her look ugly. She was jacked up, jaw out of place, hunchback, and mind you, that's how she is in the story. So it's like
Yeah.
that's book,
It's
book
it's
lore
relevant.
accurate, but they used practical effects to make her look ugly. And then when she gets her transformation or whatever, she looks, and when you see the real actress, you're like, you are fine as hell, which means the makeup department did a good job because you
Yeah.
did look jacked up in the past in your face. And so I'm like, y'all, like, where was that makeup department for this movie?
Bad.
For real. Like they should have done something. Like they should have uglied everyone up. Unless they were, trying to add the realism to it, but this is a fantasy movie.
Well,
like there's no realism in it.
So
Yeah.
I'm making
that's true.
jokes, but there really is a real reason why they didn't do the makeup effects stuff. We can get into it in spoilers if you want, but there is a legit reason. And so I'm like, okay, fine. That makes sense. But still, I wanted us to go 1,000 miles into Crazyville.
Yeah.
Because just to make the movie more entertaining. I did it already in my own imagination while watching the movie. It made it 10 times more entertaining for me.
I wanted to see Uglyville.
Same.
Not give me Uglyville.
All in
They
all,
gave me
it was-
semi-attractiveville.
Yeah.
all in all, it was, a basic story, basic movie. Not overly offensive, but still not something that I'd probably put on again. I could see teens gravitating towards this, not so much for like the story, but
this is getting a sequel. Everyone's talking about this movie.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Of course.
But for like the cast and the attractiveness of the cast, and just I think the fan power that the cast has, I think mostly teens are tuning in for that.
Yeah.
So, spoilers. Jerome, did you have any pressing thing that you wanted to get into spoiler wise?
I mean, so I do understand why they didn't go full ugly with the movie, and it's because that's the point. The point of the movie is that none of these people actually are ugly. This society has told them that they're ugly, so they believe that, but that's not actually true. And so I'm like, in that way, I'm like, okay, that makes sense why they don't look like jacked up and messed up, because in reality they're not actually ugly. It's just throughout their entire childhood they've been told to analyze and microanalyze every small feature and criticize themselves and tear themselves down, thus dropping their self-esteem low enough that they'll just get this surgery that turns them into mindless zombies and whatever. So I get that, I do, but because the movie has like feels
It's
so
called
like
Uglies.
well, first of all that, and also because the movie is so cookie cutter, I wanted them to go that far because I'm like, at least then this movie is like fun, it's entertaining, it's really soaking up the cheese,
or
it'll be fun.
at least when they become one of the pretties, make that change even like 10 times more drastic.
Like it's a different actress.
Yeah.
Like it's a different person or something.
Different
Like,
person entirely.
I think that would have been interesting.
I mean, they did do a body thing like that because the actress Brianna Iju or Jew,
Yeah.
she plays Shay, and her at the end of the movie she gets prettied up, and like her face, that's definitely her face. That is not her body.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't even look like the same person. I'm like, that is not your body. That's a different body. And if it is her body, kudos to the makeup team because it looks like a different body. Not that she doesn't look good. She looks great. But it's just like, but it looks like a different person, like the hips and everything. Like it looks like a totally different person. They did the same thing with Joey King too, I think, at the end of the movie too, where they give them like body doubles. But it's like, and I think it's why her face never looked right. Every time Shay moves after she goes through like the transformation, she looks weird.
CG.
Yeah. And so I'm like, either your face, they've done something to your CGI, your face, like the actress's face, or your face is being put on someone else's face. It doesn't look good. Either
something's just off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So but that's the thing. It's like with this movie being so like cookie cutter, I wanted like more. I wanted more of like a just live it up. And I know that book fans would have been like, this isn't the movie. This isn't the book I read. I'm like, look, listen, if you want the book you read, go on over to your local bookshelf that's sitting right there in your living room and read it. All right. This is for everybody
your local
else.
Bookshelf.
Your local bookshelf.
Your local bookshelf.
And go take it off the shelf, read it in your nighttime, and enjoy yourself. But for the rest of us, we want to enjoy this movie. And the only way I feel like to do that is for it to go ham, cheese, ridiculous.
But it did go ham, cheese, ridiculous, and nobody enjoyed it.
I mean, in certain parts, it definitely did. The whole time, so I did make up, like, after a while, I stopped watching Mick G's Uglies and started watching Jerome Rett's Uglies because I started just making up character thoughts and details, like, in my mind to make the movie more fun. My favorite being turning Paris into a mindless robot who talks like a robot. And just like, so every time he came on screen, because he doesn't say anything, because he's like this mindless drone near the end of the movie, I kept adding my own dialogue, him being like, hello, I am Paris 2.0. I am here to kill you.
You look like from Prometheus, the robot. Sorry.
Oh, he's David?
Yeah. Just keep reminding me of that.
How long has this practice been in place? The surgery been in place? Did they say that?
I don't think they gave a specific date, like a specific time period.
Because don't you think someone?
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, because don't you think someone would have figured out by now that this was turning everyone into mindless robots? Like, don't you think someone would have?
No, because the people who are, or you mean like that's why they keep the ugly people separated. They keep them like away so that they can't actually.
Yeah, but I feel like someone would have slipped through the cracks by this point, depending on how long.
She does sneak into the city and gets in relatively easy, all things considered, to the point where she even puts on a mask that shows practically her entire damn face. At no point does anybody notice.
That's because it transforms her there and gives her some pretty gown, and she suddenly turns into like Cinderella going on.
It's the Superman Hannah Montana, Clark Kent Hannah Montana effect. You put on a wig or glasses, and nobody knows who you are.
The whole time I was like, also, I'm like, that's convenient when she gets a whole disguise. I was like, that's incredibly convenient. Yeah. And then she finds the bungee vest, and I'm like, that's convenient too. Thank God you're in the world. The land of Pretty Town has all of the things you could possibly need to escape the authorities.
My whole thing with this movie was also that, like, they also trust her way too easily, the Smokies. So I understand.
Even though they have all the inclinations that she's there for like deceptive reasons.
Right. So she's like, the reason she goes is because what's
Shay.
No. What's the bad person?
Tally.
Dr.
Dr. Cable.
Dr. Cable is like, hey, they're gonna kill your friends, and like you have to go save them. And she's like, okay, and we'll give you the surgery. Which I feel like Joey King's character is just really aching for the surgery. She's willing to betray everybody. So much so that like literally she forgets at the beginning of the movie. She, after her friend turns pretty, she immediately kind of forgets him and then becomes best friends with Shay. Spends all that time, and she's like, well, now he's ignoring me. Also, what is with those nicknames? nose and squint.
This is a book from 2010s. All right, it's cute back then.
The thing, see, but the problem is with Mexicans, we do that. We find your insecurities and we make that a cute nickname. Hell, I even call my sister just Short now. It's literally her name. I call her Short.
It's like that clip that's become a meme now from the Proud Family where Ashanti's like, wrong answer, forehead.
It's kind of like that. We find your insecurity and that's your nickname forever. But it was so weird. They're like, what is your name? Nose. It's you who's making your own nickname about your own insecurity. I feel like that doesn't work.
They do in Uglyville. Everybody just brings up everyone's insecurity, and that's what they talk about.
Also,
you know
what lack of creativity? This I will say about the author. What lack of creativity it is to literally just name the town Uglyville and Pretty Town or whatever it is. That's also on the author's part. All right.
He had other names, but they were taken by all the other books, so he had to just settle for these.
Like, you could have done something like.
Yeah, to that point, I think even if you changed out, first of all, the title from Uglies, like think of a name that's maybe a little bit more
creative
or nuanced than just the Uglies and the Pretties. So that way, at least, you know, we can have somewhat of a doubt that it's not just, you know,
even in Marvel,
they're getting pretty.
We have the Inhumans. The mutants, the deviants, like there's tons of names you could have used.
It's also
hell, I would have said accepted rejects. Yeah. That would have been better.
It's also the fact that this is supposed to be. I mean, hell, that even sounds a lot better than Uglies and Pretties. The thing is, it's also created by like these adults running the world who are doing that, and it's like you created a whole system where you basically transform people's faces, bodies, lobotomize them, have them under your control. But you can't think of a better name than Pretties.
I think it's a social name, though. I don't think the doctors came up with that. I think the society as a norm came up with that. Of like, we're gonna call ourselves Pretties. We're the Pretties.
They live in Prettyville.
Also, doesn't that like? Well, now knowing what we know in the movie, in that they're trying to control the Pretties, you would think on first glance, I would question it, because if I was one of the Uglies that didn't know any better, that they were trying to control people, and I was told, okay, the reason why you get this procedure is so that everyone, you know, can be pretty and fit in, and there's no more conflict based on, you know, pretty. My first thought would be, okay, but now you're dividing the people who are the Uglies and the people who are the Pretties. So
there's still division.
Yeah,
and then they would be like, I see Mr. Keys has an opinion on that. Come, please, we want to talk to you after class. No particular reason. Say goodbye to Mr. Keys, everybody. Wait, why are we saying bye? Don't worry about that. Just come on.
That's the last time we saw Jonathan.
Although in the book they have a little bit more, like, for example, in the movie, you know, she gets that like the novel that we later find out belongs to David's parents. In the book, it's a magazine. And so it's a little more interesting because it's like they look through the magazine and they see different people, like, you know, how people used to look, you know, one of the, like the Rusties, as they call them, of the, how all of them had different body types and shapes.
That was another name. For a second, I was like, wait, are they called the Rusties or the Crusties? I would have preferred Crusties.
Yeah. It wouldn't have mattered. It would have had the same effect of like, who came up with these names? And these are the names in the book. And it's like, they didn't change that much. Like, these are the names in the damn book. And it's like, you're a grown ass man. There's no way you are this devoid of creativity that you just thought, yeah, this gonna hit right here. Rusties.
It's one ridiculous like name after another. And that's also what made it hard to make this take this movie seriously. is because you're like, oh no, the pretties are attacking.
Right.
The pretties
It's
are attacking the smoke.
It's almost like if you watched a movie and there was like the good people and the bad people, and they literally called themselves, "We're the goods. We're the goods. Those are the bads. All right,
Yeah.
we have to take down the bads."
So
It's
so so I write little stories here and there, and the thing is, I'm not good sometimes with names. Like I can't figure out what I want to name the character or something. So I put in like colors and like these like random things to just be like, I'm going to change them later. Here's what they're called now. Here's blue. Here's red. Here's yellow. Whatever. That's like if I left those in there, my stand-ins. That's if I'm like, all right, here are all the blues and the reds. You know, this is that. It's like, no, it sounds like a first draft thing where you're like, I can't figure out what to call them. Well, I'll call them the pretties for now, and these are the uglies, and you know that'll be there, and then I'll eventually come up with better names for everything. And then you don't. You send out your first draft, and you were like, oh shit, I forgot that.
You haven't even gotten into the crazy stuff yet because it's like, yeah, we've got the Smokies, the pretties, the uglies, the rusties, and the specials. And then there's the extras, which I don't know what the extras are, but I just know they're a thing in this universe.
They're extra.
It's like, bitch, come up with some names. Tired of this.
Which I was like, it's definitely the organization naming these people because where's society getting these people's names? It's got to be them being like.
I have never felt more like that meme from Holes. So I'm tired of this, Grandma. That's too damn bad. You keep digging.
The thing also with this character, as we were talking about cookie cutters and 2010s, is why is this character so just athletic? Is able to fucking scale a bridge, hop high distances, but then
roller coaster,
reclimb a flat wall, a flat mountain.
But she can't figure out how to like skateboard on a hoverboard or something. Like that, you're not athletic enough to do, but you're able to like scale
different
things.
Skill. Climbing is like is inherent. You can figure that out. Like skating on a hoverboard is very difficult. All right, it's hard enough skating on a regular skateboard. Now this one has nothing underneath it.
Acts like balance she doesn't have any. Exactly, she doesn't act like she has like no balance. All of a sudden, it's like I just saw you like jumping and like acting like Spider-Man, but suddenly you can't have no balance or what? Like what the hell?
Right. That I did like that roller coaster scene though. That was cool.
Yeah,
which was like
that was cool.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, I will say this: the highlight for me of the movie is anytime Joey King and Brianna Tiju are on the screen together. They have the best chemistry.
Yeah,
of the whole movie, easily. Even more, like especially more than goddamn. And no shade to the actors, the writing, Keith Powers and Joey King, because I was like, I know y'all are going to start a romance, but first of all, this feels predatory because you look like a grown ass man and she looks like a child. But also, secondly, the fact that like there's y'all have no chemistry, none whatsoever. There's no reason you should like this girl. And the only reason she likes you is because the second she saw you in the bath, the first thing she thought was, I then started to feel a sensation I have not felt in many moons. Like that's the first thing that came to her mind.
I feel like that's another cliche that was in this movie. That scene where he's like, you see his muscled up back in the moonlight, and you see her like,
staring.
Didn't mean to. Yeah, that happens so often.
Yeah, because I saw a TikTok where they're like, oh, if you got a male lead and you want to make him attractive, dunk him in some water. White shirt, dunk him in the water. Couple buttons, always make sure to dunk him in the water.
Hey, listen, you remember that scene in Twisters when Glenn Powell is wearing that tight ass white shirt in the rain so you can see his defined ass muscles?
They didn't dunk him in the water, but they soaked him in the water. It's always water. Hot guys, water. Apparently, that's how you know the main character is going to be the lead romance guy.
Which hit their romance made like it felt like it came out of nowhere because I'm like, and maybe it's because we skipped a lot of their a lot of stuff that would have been in the book that would have given us more time with them together to see like the romance build up. But it's the thing where I'm like, why do you like her exactly? I mean, don't get me wrong, she is brave. she did try to save Shay in that fire, and she is like very like nice. She's very sweet for a lot of the movie. But I mean, what about this girl is like, are you into? You know what I'm saying? Especially because Shay's right there. She's 10 times cooler. She can hoverboard. She's like, she's got some skills. She's fun.
Also, there was another thing of where like he's like, I don't trust you. I don't trust you at all. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm in love with you. And it's like,
Right.
you're just worried about your whole like family and everything, but all of a sudden you're like, all right, I trust her 100%. And there was a line in the movie, and I actually wrote it down because I thought it was so cliche too. When the pretty people come and they're like capturing everybody, all the smokes and like all that stuff, and she's like telling all the smoke. I don't want to say smokies. I don't like it.
No, it's just
They're catching the smoke.
I want to have somebody. I want like audience, please don't watch this movie and comment below. Because the conversation, just to hear the sentence, and then the pretties came and captured all the smoke.
There's like, that's why it's like, it sounds like a first draft. Like you had the filler names. That I know that's what I do. A lot of my characters will be called, colors, or I'll be like, oh, this is Planet 7 because I got nothing else right now.
Planet 7.
I'm like, this is what it is right now. And then I'm like, all right, I got to really go back and name things. This is what it feels like. Pretties, uglies. I guess there's
Planet 7. That actually sounds like a cool name for like a movie or something.
There is a movie called Planet 9. Yes.
Yeah. It's an old sci-fi film.
Yeah.
But it's the line after I said the pretties come for the smokes. They capture everybody, kill a couple people, or kill, the lead
One
dad.
person.
Yeah, and like are taking everybody back. She tell Keith Powers or David.
Yeah, David.
David is getting, is trying to be like, I gotta go find my family. And Tally's like, I'm so sorry I led them here. I was trying to destroy the tracker they gave me, but I didn't think it would actually, lead them here. It's like, really? You didn't think the device that they gave you to track you when you broke it would maybe track you? Mind that. And then she's like, okay, we have to, go get the people, go find Shay and all that stuff. And he's like, no, I don't trust you. And she's like, you don't have to trust me. You just have to follow me. Why would I follow you if I don't trust you? And it's always a line like that. You don't have to trust me, but we have to work together. Why would I work with you if I don't trust you? You have literally already betrayed me once.
He does, though. He literally does have to work with her because it's the only way he's going to get his family and friends back.
And it's amazing how she's the only one with the skills, even though they've all been training with like weapons and like tactical, all that stuff. But then it's her who's literally done none of that in her whole life, somehow is able to organize a whole plan, find a way into the building and save, everybody. It's like,
especially because she's like, I know how to get in. I'm like, no, you don't. You were brought there. You know how to catch a ride. There, that'd be like if I stayed in a hotel for a few days and then was like, yeah, I know how to break in. No, I don't. I know how to arrive at the front door and check in. That's what I know how to do. I don't know how to break into this damn facility. I don't know what's going on with the security detail and all that shit. What are you talking about?
How'd you even find like the back stairs or something? They didn't take you near those.
Right.
They didn't show you any of that. It's ridiculous. Like literally, it makes no sense. He did not have to team up with her. She just has randomly the skills. And that's another reason why it's a very 2010 movie with the heroines that are like, I'm suddenly very skilled, very powerful, and very knowledge, and like I am the chosen one. And it's like, but where the fuck did you learn everything? You were just a weakling in the first act. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, suddenly you have all these skills and powers and you're able to do it. It's like, it makes no sense. Like,
here's the thing, though. I'm like, and this is why it makes me upset because we're going to talk about this character a little bit more in detail. But it's like, this is a movie in which here are the character names: Tally, spelled Tally; Shay, which is probably short for something; Paris, spelled Peris; Ride, spelled Ryde; Az, that's it, Az; Susie, This one's not as weird, but still. Susie, Sussy, and spelled with one N, not two. Asterisk. And then this motherfucker, David, the most generic ass name. Would you just run out of creative names? You stop putting names in the name generator.
This character Paul.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Paul is different because at least he's not the only one. Jessica, you know what I'm saying?
Stand by my comment.
And at least Paul's cool. David is lame. He is so corny, bruh. Like, he is
annoying.
So corny.
He just flip flops so much too. He's like, I don't trust you. I trust you. I'm in love with you. It's like, make up your mind. Oh, I'm so jealous because you're actually paying attention to somebody else. It's like, we're in the middle of a battle right now, and you gotta fight because you're jealous. Like, are you kidding me? This is the appropriate time to act like this.
It very much gave like, I'm just here to be the love interest on the good guy's side,
right? Even though like, Paris, apparently there's a different character who's supposed to be the love triangle for Tally. That's not Paris. Paris is like a different character. There's another character who's the one who becomes like the special or whatever. I think his name's like Zane or something, which I'm like, that's the most generic name for this era because every book that was like a futuristic teen romance book had a character named Zane or something to that effect in their book.
There's always Zane.
There's always a Zane around somewhere because Zane's so edgy and cool. He's a bad boy. His name's Zane. It sounds like what a blade sounds like when it cuts through flesh. Zane. That's how you know he's dangerous.
I had such a sarcastic comment on the tip of my tongue, but I was like,
like, let me so stupid.
It's like Axel. Also sounds like dangerous and badass because his name's Axel. He's always on the edge.
Yeah, there's a couple other examples out there.
Yeah.
Croy was the dude who made me laugh because he's like, I'm sorry, am I the only? I felt like I felt his pain throughout the entire movie because he's the only one like, this woman just showed up here. Does anyone else find it a little strange that she got here by her goddamn self and no one's asking questions?
They were pretty much like, yeah, we find it suspicious, but you know, it is what it is.
Well, they were like, oh, she's friends with Shay. Shay's like, okay with her. And it's like, she still came out. Yeah, she's like, you have no idea how she came out here. And all of a sudden, you're showing her everything. They gave her the grand tour. This is how we do everything. Here's all our people and all our secrets. And it's like, are you kidding me?
Especially
like, aren't you supposed to be a secret society?
Shay knows that Tally is not down with the program. She's just here because she's here for her. And Shay's like, no, come on, give it a chance. But at the same time, she also knows something's up with that necklace. And at first she thinks it's like, oh, Paris gave it to you. He likes you, girl. He gave you some jewelry. But after she finds that, that's early in the conversation. But later in the conversation, when she finds out Tally's like not actually there to join, she's there to get her, and she's still not down with the program, I would have been like, wait, so what's the deal with the necklace? Because that's suspicious. Yes. Then did he give you that so you could track us? What's the deal?
There were so many red flags. So many red flags when you go to a private civilization like that and you just pop out of nowhere with like, yeah, I just got here. How? And why do you have weird jewelry going on? Like, what's going on here?
And knowing the day before, not the day before, but whenever before, that she was literally telling Shay, she was literally like, about their friendship was about to be broken because she wanted to be pretty and Shay did not.
Mm-hmm. Especially because, and this is a change because you were mentioning earlier, Alex, the like thing of like Dr. Cable gives her like the option. Apparently in the book there is no option. Dr. Cable's like, you will go do this and then after we'll make you pretty. In the movie they make it where it's like you could be pretty now or you could save your friend and then you'd be a hero. And so it's to make her seem more good because in the book she's very vapid. She's like, I want to be pretty. God damn it. If this is what I got to do, then I'm going to do it. I don't give a damn. I will climb mountains as long
would
as I get to
have
be pretty
made-
at the end.
Which would have made like more sense even in the movie. And I hate when they do that to characters in movies because they're like, oh, we have to make them sure that they're definitely the good guy. We have to like display it more and more. And it's like, no, this whole thing is about people who are very concerned with how their looks are. They would do anything for this because, you know, it's formed that way from society telling them all these things. And it's so engraved in them that they would literally sell out anybody to become pretty. But instead, they're like, oh, let's build her more of a conscience. She should be doing this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no. The character from the beginning is like, I can't wait to be pretty. I can't wait to be pretty. And that's all she talks about. And then all of a sudden, she's like, well, I need to save my friend. A friend you met like 2 days ago, mind you, that you knew didn't want to be pretty. That was against everything.
They've been hanging out for 2 months. Because like,
Is
it's
it?
just the movie skips so far through time that you don't realize. But no, it's like after that night, like when she goes to Pretty Town to see Paris, that's where she still has 2 months out before her transformation. And so when she gets back, that's when she first meets Shay and they start hanging out. So they've been hanging out for like 2 months.
I did not catch that at all. That's a weird time jump then.
Because the movie doesn't do a great job of like with time in the beginning because it just kind of speeds through a lot of that. But it's like, yeah, it's been 2 months, which is why I like when Paris shows up and she's like, Paris, yeah, I'm so happy to see you. I'm like, I would not be if you were my former best friend and then you just abandoned me, haven't talked to me in 2 months. Technically 3, because for that first month, I was reaching out to you. You weren't saying anything. Then I come find you and you don't even recognize me. And you're like, me, it's whatever. And then for extra 2 months, you don't talk to me at all. You don't send me no new messages, nothing. When you show up,
don't call me by the nickname that we've
yeah,
like ain't no. Oh my God, Paris, I'm so happy to see you. It's what do you want? Oh, now I exist. Now you know my name. You know who I am. Don't call me Squid. No, that ship is sailed. I got new friends.
Not only that, when she got caught in Pretty Town, he just stood there and did nothing as she ran. He did not help her. He did not try to be like, get out this way. He was like, all right, well, she's gonna get caught. It's her problem, not mine.
This is a story for teenagers, but you know if this was a story for adults, it's like, cause in Pretty Town, all they do is have orgies with each other. That's it. It's all sex, drugs, and debauchery. Because basically, what I'm saying is Uglyville is Uglyville, but Pretty Town is Euphoria. All right, when you go over there, that's the experience. It's drugs, sex, and everything else.
It kind of feels that way
all
because
the
they
time.
have a safari party on one of the levels. They have a safari party.
Sure. When they were throwing those masks, I thought that was underwear for the longest time. I was like, are they about to get down right now?
Bra. The way she was holding it when she first grabbed it, I thought it was a bra straight up. And
I
was like, whoa. These are children now. What you doing here? And then it turns, it's like, oh, it's a mask. Actually, I don't know how I feel about that. And they're like, the safari party. I'm like, I still don't like that. I don't like anything that's going on here.
Right. I was like, what is going on? Y'all are too young for all this activity. That's why I'm like, it's Euphoria. Euphoria is going on in Pretty Town. Meanwhile, in Uglyville, they're doing the Divergent dance 3 days a week. Mm-hmm. The rest and the other times they get rest. Also, the rings made me so mad because
I didn't understand the rings at all. I feel like they made no sense.
And I'm like, what is how exactly do you do the like I'm like, so basically all you gotta do is just keep turning the ring as it's trying to do the command and then it'll do something else. You mean to tell me you're the only one who figured that out? Nobody else tried that?
Are there not people with ADHD or anxiety that fidget? Right. I would fidget with that all the time.
See, that's the issue with this movie is that they're acting like again, I don't know how long civilization has been like this for these people, but these clearly cannot have been the first people to do all of this stuff. Like the next movie needs to be a prequel. I need to see someone who like
I need to see evidence that these people aren't just stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, or especially because it's like especially when they break in here. They are breaking in to a facility that is meant strictly for high-level personnel. Yet somehow this girl's ring, like she thinks in her mind, legitimately, oh, I'm gonna get my classmate's ring, and that'll help us open the doors. In what world? She ain't even supposed to be there. How the hell do you expect her ring to help open these damn doors? Then of course, it's Convenience Town and Pretty Town. Conveniently, a guard happens to be coming the opposite way, opens the door for her so that they can knock him out and take his ring. And I was just like, yo, Pretty Town is where you need to be. Place your lotto numbers in Pretty Town, and I guarantee you will win. You will get that money. Because conveniences happen all the time in Pretty Town. Non-stop.
This was just a bad story put together. I understand. So the deeper meaning of this movie, not a bad idea, especially for,
yeah, I get it.
For the time period it was written in. There was a lot of books like that were like, it's not about your looks, it's about your personality. A lot of books were like that because they had always the average looking girl. It's always what it was. But then
big during that time, like it was on the rise. It's not like it is now.
Yeah, with MySpace and everything, I remember so many things like that, and so like that message was clear. And again, a lot of books were like that, where it's like, it's the average girl, and look how amazing and adventurous she actually is. It's all about her personality and shit like that. But it's the actual story that, again, I haven't read the books, but from the way it's presented in the movie, it's crap. It's just crap. It makes no sense. It jumps through a lot. And again, I understand it may be missing a bunch of parts of the book, but it sucks. All right. It looks like something that is cheap and it belongs in early 2010s. Like, it makes no sense. There's not a proper plot going on. It's just this girl who's getting herself into these situations and demanding everybody just trust her when you haven't been trustworthy at all. And you have these random skills that come out of nowhere. Like, who the fuck are you? What is this?
And your grade, Alex?
It's like an F. If there is a sequel, I don't want to see this movie. It's so bad. It never made me want to read the book, because sometimes there's movies that I'm like, this is shitty, but people are like, oh, the book's, this missing this chunk that makes so much sense. And I'm like, all right, I kind of want to read the book. I don't want to read the book at all. I don't want to understand more. I don't want to learn more about this movie. And it's just like, you could have, the baseline, again, the story, the message, understandable. It's really good. And it's very important, even for girls and boys and everybody nowadays, especially with social media still, so present in our lives, especially nowadays, because I'll see like 10-year-olds like doing base, like get ready with me in the morning kind of routines. That it's like, you're 10, you don't need these routines yet. So like, this is a good baseline story to have, but this is a shitty story, and Netflix did shitty work. What about you? What's your grade, Jonathan?
So when you were talking about like how she demanded everything from everybody and demanded everyone trust her and everything, in my mind I was kind of thinking it kind of defeats the lesson of the movie, because in that sense she is operating like she has pretty privilege when she's an ugly. So that's
technically they're all uglies, so
right. And that's what the concept or topic of pretty privilege is, that people who are pretty don't have to work as hard because they get everything handed to her. And she was kind of doing that in this movie. But maybe that's going another layer down. Maybe that's part of the message, in the sense that she realized that looks weren't everything, and she was able to gain access, and she was able to get all this stuff without being one of the pretty people.
She didn't need her looks to manipulate people, is the true message of the story. There's other ways to manipulate people, using their emotions.
Exactly.
Yeah, especially because this movie is trying so hard to be so PG. Because it's like, yes, he kisses her, and then they spend a night in the tent together. But don't worry, audience, they did get up fully clothed. So it's fine.
But yeah, overall, this movie was very like surface level. It almost doesn't seem like a movie for teens. Maybe like like a preteen,
Like middle school,
like
yeah.
middle school. It seems like that kind of movie for them. So all in all, I'm gonna have to give this movie a D.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go C. I was like, Jonathan's the nice one. He'll still hit.
Yeah, I was like, I
eventually.
expected I was gonna be like, do not, but like, okay. you too nice, and I was like gonna be like, no, don't be nice.
This isn't the normal. I'll give it credit for, people worked hard on this, and it's not like unwatchable. It's not like offensively unwatchable.
Listen, people also work hard on bombs. That don't mean that that it delivers good things at the end of the day.
Good Lord.
But yeah, overall, like I don't know how. Yeah, I don't see, I just don't. Yeah, I'll give it a D. Yeah.
What about you, Jerome?
I'll let the movie speak for itself, because I'll tell you, like, this is your movie, right? This is your movie. Okay, that's what it looks like, right? This is Uglies. And then, but like in reality, really, it's just this movie all over again, complete with poster, because it looks the goddamn same.
Literally.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and for the listening audience, I just showed the poster for Uglies and then the poster for Divergent, and they look virtually the same. The only difference is there's less characters on the Divergent poster. That's it.
And you get full body shots.
Yeah.
Versus like just the shoulders up.
I like all that to say, this movie just feels like that. It feels like 1,000 different of those teen romance movies, all the cliches, all of it thrown into this random gumbo and spit back out. And they're just like, are you sure? Like, but nobody tasted it to know if it was taste good or not. They were just like, let's just serve it up to the masses. And that's what
if this movie was written by Chat GPT, I would believe it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like this movie, but again, it's like it's an inoffensive movie in that it's on a stream. Like, if this movie came out in theaters, I would have given this an F, because I'm like, you just out here wasting people's time. You know what I'm saying? You out here wasting people's time and money. Okay, like this is
my time, even though I was at home.
Like the unmitigated gall to have put this on movie theater screens, take up time, take up the screen space. You know what I'm saying? That could be used for anything else. Right. I would have been furious.
If I would have got nachos to watch this movie, I would have asked for a refund.
But the fact that it's on Netflix is why I'm lighter on this movie, because I'm like, it's exactly where it's supposed to be. This is yet another teen romance, like, schlock movie on Netflix for you to like put on for your kids or something, I guess, or if they really want to watch it, or something for them to watch on their own time, maybe, and just like turn their brain off, because that's really what you got to do to enjoy this movie, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I mean, overall, are the performances awful? No, they're just not impressive. Is the CG bad? I mean, sure, but it's not like the worst. It's just not great. So it's like, it's a lot of that. I'm just like, there's these moments where it's just a lot of just middle of the road to lacking effort feeling. Yeah. And so I just like, I'll give this movie the near lowest grade I can give it, which is a D-, because it is like, it's weak sauce, but it's not like trash. Like, it's not like the movie that will make me like angry. You know what I'm saying? In a world where like Netflix has already made that quota with Rebel Moon's part 1 and 2 plus director's cuts, but part 1 and 2 for me. So, and comparatively to that movie, at least this movie has a coherent story. It's a weak story, but coherent nonetheless. Rebel Moon is out here wasting people's time. with its whack ass story for 4 hours, 6 if you're nasty. So just like, so
Sure.
you know, like that's where I'm at with Uglies. You know what I mean? Watch it or don't. You'll yeah,
Don't.
your life will not change either way.
Or you could watch it in. I started towards the end. I started watching it in 1.5 speed. I can't lie, and I never do that. But
You can wait for
I,
it to
I
be
do
over.
I do it all the time. I love it because I
Or
cannot
do what
sit
I
still.
do. Just make up your own movie. All right. I mean, I heard the dialogue, but in my head they said different words, and I had a much more time. The movie in my head was 10 times more entertaining than the movie we got. So for me, anyway, it made me laugh.
I just
David's
kept
a psycho.
David. I kept thinking about David. I was like, he's so worried about his parents, and then you decided in the middle of like trying to escape the evil headquarters. This was a perfect time to let my jealousy override everything and try to fight this like basically pretty robot now. That
and
was
then
a perfect time to do it, you know?
and then get his ass beat.
Oh yeah, completely.
His ass. And then when Paris died, I've like again in the movie of my own in my head, I just heard David just go like, when he's just like, come on, Tally, we have to go. I'm like, bitch, you just go stand there and watch me get my ass whooped. Get your ass up. Come on, we gotta go. I got the shit kicked out of me. I'm never going to defend you ever again in my life. I swear to God.
It wasn't even defending her. She was getting through to like the robot thingy. I'm calling him a robot.
And then
I can't call him pretty. It's the robot. He's a robot essentially. And then he just jumps in out of nowhere. She like almost got through it, and it's like, what was this point? What was all this for?
especially because at the end too, she still gets like, she's like, because that was also dumb when she's like, I can't operate on this girl if I don't know it's safe, because they want to try and turn Shay back to the normal Shay after she's been prettified, and I was just like, woman, if you don't just like replicate the cure and test on this girl, you know she don't want this. She might be saying she wants it, but you know that's a lie. She don't want this.
See, Paradigm's just like, we don't do it on unwilling. Of course, they're not going to be willing to reverse back. They've been lobotomized, basically. They've been forced to realize. They're like, oh yeah, even though the entire time she literally escaped Uglyville to live off grid because she doesn't want to do it, but all of a sudden, no, we don't know what she really wants. She has been telling you since the start of the movie what she wants.
Anytime I hear Uglyville, it's like, wow, this is.
And then on top of that, then it's like, but then here comes Tally. Y'all, I'm so special. Here's what I'm fitting to do, right? Even though y'all have told me when they prettify me up, I'm gonna have like lesions in my brain that will prevent me from, thinking on my own. I'm gonna be basically a robot. I'm a not only turn myself into the people who now have a vendetta against me because I turned on them, but also I'm gonna let them prettify me up, but I'm still being me though, and you'll know. And even then, when he's like, how will we know? I'll send you a sign. Bitch, if you don't just tell me, how the hell am I supposed to know that you are the same person? Don't be vague with me right now. Tell me what I want to know.
Also, what world is the evil organization going to let you live, turn you beautiful, set you up in a nice ass apartment with a hell of a view, let you continue your life partying and drinking, instead of just straight out killing you? You destroyed a whole building. You like knocked people out. You hit the lead evil person. Like,
you burned Laverne Cox. That's unforgivable. That wig was given. Okay, you gonna have to die.
Yeah, it's like what universe would they let you live? Apparently, just to make you pretty. They're like,
she was out here looking fierce, and you ruined that. You have to die now.
I will say everybody else's costume was very bland, and like I get it was supposed to be like, oh, Uglies are ingrained, but Vern Cox's outfits were beautiful. They were so. I love that
good.
That white. The first outfit she appeared in, it was the white one with the like. It had these cool long sleeves gave her like that professional, but it was just a nice ass outfit. I will say that Laverne Cox's costumes, I don't know, she had full control over that or whatnot, but I mean, she dressed beautifully in this movie. I loved her style.
Point is, when Tally turned herself in, wasn't no operation waiting for her except the one that is called Mr. 9mm. That's the only one waiting for her. It's like she should have gotten arrows, bullets, something.
She
Or
would
the
have
very least,
died.
they could have turned her into a special where she has no autonomy whatsoever. It's like, you are a robot now.
Oh, special.
For sure. Like but it has to happen because she's so special, y'all. She's so special. So there you go.
Well,
Ugly.
you know who else is special? You, audience. We want to let you know that you're special, and we want you to let us know what you thought of Uglies. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you not even watch it and you just watched our review? Because we would love that.
I feel like the review was more entertaining than the actual movie.
Probably, actually.
Probably.
Let us know.
So.
We are on. If you can follow us on all these social media platforms at The First Ones to Die. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a like and subscribe. Also, comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Excuse me. Also, if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast listening platform, go ahead and give us a rating and review. We would really appreciate it. You can find me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, wherever you please. Jerome, where can people find you?
You can find me at Jerome Rhett on Instagram. Thinking of YouTube, like Jonathan said, please do subscribe, follow us, like, share, all this stuff, because there's all types of great content on the YouTube channel that you cannot get anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? Video games, videos we've done, vlogs, book reviews, mini reviews, and video versions of all of our podcasts. And in fact, with this being the start of Spooky Month, with October coming through, we've got, I'm sure, some things on the docket. We're of course going to do our Halloween special, but other things that might be coming out this month, and you're not going to want to miss those. So once again, subscribe, like, favorite, share, all the things. If you're not watching, or if you're already watching, thank you so much. We appreciate you. You're great. Alex, where can people find you?
You can find me at Alex and Nobody on Instagram and on TikTok. Also the podcast TikTok, where I post clips of episodes we have done, show movies we are going to review, or TV shows, and little posts about things that I'm watching currently. I recently just watched Salem's Lot. It just came out on Max on October 3rd. It's ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. It's a Stephen King novel adaptation. It has vampires in it, and anytime a cross comes too close to a vampire, it glows so much you can use it as a flashlight. There are some good jump scares in there, I will give it that, but I feel like compared to the old Stephen King adaptations, this is definitely a 2024 style. Put it that way. But what are we reviewing next week? Did we ever lock that down?
Next week will be a free-for-all episode. We are going to once again have just a conversational episode, our favorite sci-fi movies, but maybe we might get a little extra if we do maybe some horror sci-fi or whatever, in honor of Spooky Month. But, either way, favorite sci-fi stuff, movies, TV shows, all the things. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun discussion, I'm sure. All the free-for-alls are always fun and interesting. So we'll see. But until then, tune in next week, of course. But also, until then, have a good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whenever you're listening to this. And we'll catch you for the next one. Bye.
Bye.
I'm tired. I'm losing steam. That's why I'm late. I'm all over the place.
Y'all got work tomorrow?
I do have work tomorrow. I have we've just got done cut. We're about to start wrapping up a behind the scenes shoot of our newest exhibit. Is a Keith Haring exhibit. Like, we have some of his art pieces and things. Cool. And that's going to be opening this Saturday. like to the public Saturday, but the opening party is Friday. So I'll
Oh,
be there for
nice.
that to do some filming of the like opening panel and stuff like that. And
Cool.
I feel like Keith Haring would be proud if he was still here today, because it's a good exhibit so far. It looks really great. So I've been filming the behind the scenes of the install of them building the exhibit and stuff. It looks great.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah, really interesting. I
Yeah.
get to go to work and just because of the doctor I have, he has a lot of shit because he's oncology and orthopedics. Everybody is stressed because I'm leaving them with my work for a full week and I'm not going to be in reach, so they can't really ask me questions. So they're like, "What do we do?" And I'm like, "Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be set. Leave me alone. You will be okay. Everybody can handle shit when I'm not here." But the thing is, my MA, like, who is Dr. Cannon's MA, is also going to be gone. So both his whole team's basically going to be gone because it's usually me and her doing everything. So we're leaving everybody to their own